The bathroom light, cold and unforgiving, glared off the pristine porcelain. William Anderson stood over the toilet, his gaze fixed on the small, crumpled latex in his palm. His stomach lurched, a sickening churn that had nothing to do with indigestion. A moment ago, this had been a night of warmth, of comfort, of Elizabeth's soft murmurs from the bed just beyond the door. Now a cold dread spread through him, colder than the Atlanta night seeping through the window. He blinked, willing the image away, but it persisted. Tiny, moving specks clinging to the slick surface. Not dust, not lint. Something alive. His fingers trembled, the latex suddenly feeling alien, contaminated. Every rational thought fractured. What was this? And what did it mean for Elizabeth, radiant and trusting, sleeping so peacefully after their shared intimacy? The answer, he knew instinctively, was a profound violation, a hidden horror that had just clawed its way into their perfect world. Before we venture further into this chilling chronicle, a journey into the unexpected depths of a real-life ordeal, I invite you. Grab your favorite mug, find that quiet corner and settle in. This is more than a story. It's a stark reminder of the hidden challenges that can surface when you least expect them. I'm genuinely curious, where in the world are you watching this video from right now? Share your location in the comments below, and please don't hesitate to join the conversation. Your insights, your thoughts, they are the heartbeat of these narratives. Welcome to 24/7 True Crime Chronicles, where every story we unveil is deeply rooted in actual events, meticulously brought to life to not only engage, but also to offer a deeper understanding of human experience. If you find yourself drawn to uncovering the truth behind extraordinary circumstances and appreciate stories that resonate long after they're told, I urge you, lend your support by subscribing to our channel, and make sure you tap that notification bell icon. That way, you'll be among the first to receive every one of our newest, most gripping stories. Your participation, your clicks, your engagement, they are the driving force behind every narrative we bring to light. William Anderson, 32, navigated the complex circuits of Atlanta's booming tech industry. An electrical engineer, his world was one of precise calculations and reliable systems. His life mirrored his work. Stable, predictable, meticulously organized. Weekends often found him deep in personal projects or connecting with his small, loyal circle of friends. He valued order, a steady rhythm, and an honest day's work. His commitment to detail defined him, shaping his career and his quiet, grounded existence in the city. Across town, 29-year-old Elizabeth Carter lived a life less structured, more attuned to human emotion. As a high school counselor, her days were filled with the challenges and triumphs of Atlanta's youth. Her smile, bright and genuine, and her easy, unforced laugh were her hallmarks. She approached her work with a profound passion, guiding troubled teens with empathy and understanding. Elizabeth radiated a vibrant, open energy, a stark contrast to William's measured calm. Their paths converged at a birthday celebration for Logan Grant, a longtime college friend of William's. The connection between William and Elizabeth was instant, an effortless exchange of thoughts and laughter. Coffee dates turned into evenings at art galleries, then into nights at jazz clubs. Their relationship blossomed quickly, a blend of exciting newness and comfortable familiarity. It felt right, a seamless fit into lives that, until then, had operated on parallel tracks. Elizabeth, open and direct, soon shared details about her past, including a long-standing history of irregular periods and severe cramps. She dismissed them as just how my body is or runs in the family, a common narrative she'd accepted since adolescence. William, ever the problem solver, voiced a gentle concern, suggesting a second medical opinion. Elizabeth, however, brushed it off with a shrug and a smile, confident it was nothing serious. Yet, a quiet question lingered in William's mind, a subtle discord in the otherwise perfect harmony of their connection. A question quickly set aside, as all seemed well, and their happiness took precedence. Friday, March 10, 2023, began as a day of triumph. William had secured a significant contract at work, a culmination of months of dedication. The evening promised quiet celebration. Dinner plans were set at Elizabeth's Atlanta apartment. The air within her home felt warm, infused with the scent of her homemade pasta sauce. Laughter flowed easily between them, punctuated by the clink of wine glasses. It was an evening of effortless connection, a comfortable rhythm of shared joy. After the meal, the conversation softened, the atmosphere shifting towards a familiar intimacy. In the quiet glow of the bedside lamp, Elizabeth reached for a condom from her drawer, a gesture of mutual trust and foresight. Their embrace deepened, a profound connection binding them. Each touch, each shared breath, underscored the deep bond they had cultivated, making the normalcy of the moment a stark contrast to what lay ahead. Minutes later, William stood by the toilet in Elizabeth's bathroom. He held the used condom, ready to dispose of it. His eyes caught something. A flicker. He leaned closer. A shadow? No. A trick of the light? He stared, his breath catching. Tiny, minuscule forms. They moved. They writhed. A slow, dawning realization crashed over him, a cold wave of revulsion. Living organisms, clinging to the surface. His mind raced, struggling to comprehend, to deny what his eyes were seeing. His fingers recoiled, a primal urge to cleanse. He flushed the condom, watching it disappear, but the image, the sickening movement, was seared into his vision. His hands shook as he turned on the faucet, scrubbing relentlessly, though he knew the contamination wasn't on his skin. It was in his mind. How does one even begin such a conversation? William re-entered the bedroom, his face a mask of shock, drained of color. Elizabeth immediately sensed his distress, her comfortable sleep interrupted by his unsettling presence. He tried to speak, but the words caught. The unspeakable truth he carried choked him. He managed a broken explanation, halting and vague. Elizabeth listened, her brow furrowing in confusion, then disbelief, quickly replaced by a dawning horror as his fragmented words began to form a terrifying picture. A heavy, suffocating silence filled the room, amplifying the unspoken dread that had just invaded their shared space. "We need to go," William urged, his voice strained. "To the emergency room. Now, just to be sure." Elizabeth, still processing the shock, nodded numbly. The drive to Atlanta Memorial Hospital was agonizingly silent. Each mile deepened the chasm of unspoken fear between them. The vibrant city lights outside seemed to mock their internal turmoil, reflecting a world still normal while theirs had just tilted precariously. The hospital waiting room was a sterile tableau of hushed murmurs and flickering overhead lights. Explaining their unimaginable situation to the intake nurse felt surreal. An embarrassing, deeply personal horror laid bare in hushed, awkward tones. They took seats in plastic chairs, separated by a thin barrier of silent despair. Time stretched, each minute a heavy weight, as they were left alone with their individual terrifying thoughts. Elizabeth's name was called first. She was led away, disappearing behind a closed door. William remained alone in the waiting room. His phone became a portal to darkness. He typed frantic queries, condom maggots, parasites human, each search result more horrifying and incomprehensible than the last. His mind went to the darkest places, imagining unseen terrors. Inside the examination room, Dr. Margaret Brooks, a physician with years of experience, listened patiently to Elizabeth's account. Elizabeth, still in shock, downplayed her long-standing normal cramps and the occasional slight odor she'd grown accustomed to. Dr. Brooks's composure remained, but her subtle movements, the intensity in her eyes during the examination, conveyed a quiet, growing apprehension. Dr. Brooks returned, her expression grave. Her initial findings pointed to a severe internal infection. Then came the word, clinical yet chilling, larvae. The word echoed, confirming William's horrific sight. Elizabeth recoiled, a gasp escaping her lips. The full stomach-turning realization hit her. Something living, something moving, inside her body. Her first terrified question was not about herself, but about William. Is he okay? Is he infected? Meanwhile, William underwent his own examination with Dr. David Walker. The doctor found no immediate signs of infection and prescribed precautionary antibiotics. William received a clean bill of health. He was physically untouched. This stark contrast between their situations amplified his dread. Elizabeth was still behind those doors, and he knew, with a certainty that chilled him, something profoundly wrong was unfolding for her. A hidden battle he couldn't join. The hospital waiting room felt colder, the silence heavier, as William endured the early morning hours. Every minute stretched, burdened by the unknown. He tried to focus, to calm his racing thoughts, but the image from the bathroom replayed relentlessly. The weight of Elizabeth's absence, her isolation behind those medical doors, pressed down on him. Finally, Elizabeth emerged. Her face was pale, etched with exhaustion and shock. "They're admitting me," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "They found something, an infection, possibly worse." William's heart sank, a cold, hard plummet. There was no more to say. They agreed he'd go home to shower, to compose himself, and return at dawn. William's night was restless, haunted by the memory, by the unspoken questions that echoed in the silent apartment. He returned to the hospital before the sun fully rose, finding Elizabeth awake but profoundly weary. Her eyes held a deep, new sadness he hadn't seen before. Dr. Margaret Brooks entered the room, the initial test results in hand. Her expression was solemn. She spoke the clinical term, myiasis. Elizabeth, her voice oddly distant at first, explained the meaning to William: fly larvae, maggots, growing inside the body. Her clinical tone faltered, cracking with horror as she articulated the unspeakable. Dr. Brooks added that such cases were extremely rare in the United States, typically linked to poor hygiene or tropical climates. Elizabeth fit neither profile. This discrepancy, the doctor implied, suggested a deeper underlying cause for the infection to take hold. Had her long-standing menstrual issues somehow created an unusual environment? The question hung, a chilling prelude. Moments later, Dr. Susan Mitchell, an infectious disease specialist, and Dr. Zoe Parker, a gynecological surgeon, joined them. They confirmed the uterine meiosis. Then came the true revelation, delivered by Dr. Parker with grave precision: severe, undiagnosed endometriosis. This condition, where tissue similar to the uterine lining grows outside the uterus, had created the perfect festering environment for a fly to lay its eggs, likely during menstruation. The larvae had then hatched and thrived within. William's feelings churned, revulsion at the description, yet profound sympathy for Elizabeth. Tears streamed down Elizabeth's face. The crushing weight of years of dismissed symptoms, of living with this hidden condition, overwhelmed her. Her guilt at her past dismissals was clear, but William firmly clasped her hand, offering unwavering reassurance. The cruel irony wasn't lost on them. The condom had shielded William, while Elizabeth unknowingly harbored a silent, insidious threat. The immediate focus shifted: treatment. Dr. Zoe Parker, the gynecological surgeon, detailed the upcoming procedure. It would be laparoscopic, minimizing invasiveness, aimed at removing the larvae and infected tissue, while also addressing the extensive endometriosis. Her tone was precise, professional, yet carried a cautious weight as she discussed the potential impact on Elizabeth's fertility. The primary goal was preservation, but a partial hysterectomy remained a possibility if the endometriosis proved too severe. The unspoken question of their future, a fragile thread, hung between William and Elizabeth. Elizabeth's face was ashen, her grip on William's hand surprisingly strong despite her fragility. "I'll be here," William promised, his voice low and firm, "every step of the way." It was a simple vow, loaded with the weight of everything they faced. Soon, Elizabeth's parents, Lyra Rivers and Robert Miller, arrived from out of state. The reunion was charged with emotion, relief mixed with the shock of the terrifying diagnosis. Explaining the unspeakable details was difficult, spoken in hushed, fragmented sentences. Lyra's eyes, however, held a deep gratitude for William. "Thank you for taking her," she murmured, a quiet acknowledgement that his shocking discovery had perhaps averted a far worse outcome. Late that night, William kept vigil beside Elizabeth's hospital bed. The room was quiet save for the steady hum of machines. Elizabeth stirred, her eyes finding his. Her voice was raw, vulnerable. "Are you disgusted by me?" The question hung in the still air. William met her gaze, unwavering. "Never," he responded, his conviction absolute. "This is a medical condition. It doesn't change how I feel about you. Not one bit." In that shared moment of fear and uncertainty, William silently renewed his promise. Whatever came next, they would face it together. Saturday morning brought the sterile rituals of pre-op preparations. The final goodbyes were hushed, filled with unspoken anxieties, as Elizabeth was wheeled away. William joined Lyra and Robert in the surgical waiting area. Logan Grant arrived, a quiet, steadfast presence offering support. The hours stretched into an agonizing eternity. Each minute ticked by, a relentless march of uncertainty as they waited, each lost in their own silent pleas and fears. Dr. Zoe Parker appeared, still in her surgical cap, her face showing the quiet relief that follows intense work. A collective breath escaped the waiting family as she delivered the news. The surgery went well. All infected tissue and larvae had been successfully removed. The update on Elizabeth's endometriosis was more sobering. It was extensive, stage 4, with some areas too close to vital organs for complete removal. Regarding fertility, one fallopian tube was gone. Yet a chance remained, though achieving pregnancy would likely be difficult, requiring specialized assistance. Elizabeth lay pale and vulnerable in her hospital bed, monitors tracing the steady rhythm of her recovery. William watched over her, his presence a quiet comfort. When she stirred, her voice was weak, a mere whisper. Her immediate question was about the endometriosis. William gently deferred the full details, knowing she needed more strength to process the long road ahead. William maintained his vigil, sometimes dozing in the uncomfortable recliner, always watching Elizabeth. Despite the trauma of the past days, a deep sense of gratitude settled over him. Their lives had been irrevocably changed, rearranged in profound ways. The ordeal had reshaped their understanding of normalcy, yet their bond remained firm. The immediate challenges were clear. managing Elizabeth's pain, initiating long-term treatment for the endometriosis, and having difficult conversations about their future, including fertility options. The road ahead was uncertain, shrouded in what-ifs and medical complexities. Yet, a path, however winding, lay before them. They stood committed to facing each challenge together, one day at a time. This experience became a profound lesson for them both. It highlighted the critical importance of truly listening to one's body, seeking comprehensive medical advice, and the remarkable power of steadfast support during times of hidden adversity. The crime of silence they endured wasn't born of malice, but from a tragic overlooking of Elizabeth's symptoms. This story stands as a powerful reminder for all to advocate for their own health, to question, and to persist until answers are found. This chronicle of William and Elizabeth serves as a sobering reminder. Sometimes the most profound horrors are not immediately visible. They reside beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary lives. This narrative truly highlights the resilience of the human spirit, the enduring power of devotion, and the vital importance of being attuned to one's own body. What are your thoughts on this extraordinary case? Has there ever been a time you overlooked a health concern, only to discover it was far more significant? Please share your experiences in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, show your support by giving this video a like, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and if you haven't already, subscribe to 24/7 True Crime Chronicles. Remember to activate that notification bell so you'll always be the first to witness our newest, gripping explorations into true events. Until next time, remain attentive and stay secure.